Hey, what's up, y'all? We're back with episode 79 of Support Black Business TV, and today we have one of our members of Black Folk Hotspots and another, obviously, fellow business owner, Gary Tracy, who's out in Dublin, California. Um, According to his bio, he has an online tutoring company and specializes in mathematical tutoring. He's also wrote a couple books as well that you can find the links to more information about Gary, as well as the links to his books that you can find on Amazon and order in the description below. So if you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on whatever social media outlet you may be on, from LinkedIn and Google Plus, whatever it is, but definitely take a look, find out more, because we need more tutors. I know for sure that I remember when my daughter was probably like in 7th grade. I was helping her with her homework, and I'm telling her, I think it was like some fractions or something, right? And I'm like, no, you do this. This is how you do it. And so she did it my way, right? Because I'm the dad. And she called me the next day when she got her grades back, and she's like, "Poppy, I missed every last one of them. I'm not listening to you no more." So I'm telling you, and I'm like, I was really good in math, but I missed a step, and that's what it was. And so we definitely, as we get older, we might think we know, but we really don't know. And if somebody, especially with something that we're not studying, daily, so we do tend to forget a few things. Some of us, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But anyway, Gary, so can you elaborate? And thanks for coming on. Tell us about your business and things like that, and being, number 79 as far as on our Support Black Business TV, radio, whatever you want to call it, show. So we appreciate you, giving us a few minutes out of your schedule to talk about what you do, and then to interact a little bit with, as far as two Black business owners.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you for providing the platform, giving me the opportunity. So much respect for that. And I actually discovered you on Twitter, so just to let you know that as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Because I tell people, I was having a conversation with a guy yesterday. I got called out of the blue. Out of the blue. I mean, I ain't gonna be. I'm not even gonna. Just in case people don't know, I take a nap during the middle of the day. I tell people that's the benefit of being a business owner, right? I know my body, and every 4 or 5 hours, sometimes I might need to take like a quick 5-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute power nap. But I definitely try to. I get up around 6:37, right? And then around 11:30, I got a little tiredness in me. You know what I mean? So I know being a business owner, I got a long day coming. So I try to get me a little nap in. But he called and he woke me up and he was like, "Hey, you live on air." And I'm like, "Damn," because I'm like, "Huh? Hello? Who is this?" Right? I didn't remember having anything scheduled. And I looked at my calendar and I'm like, "Wait a minute! I don't have nothing, like no calls and no conference calls," which I'd already done. I had done a media day with some of Tyrese's people with this guy Elijah Shaw. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but he's like the bodyguard to the stars. But anyway, guy called me up and he was like, "This is being recorded live on YouTube in front of my audience," and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, but I'm like, wow. I'm like, give me a minute, man. Let me get myself together real quick. And I didn't have a problem with it. I could have had him call back or whatever, but it turns out that it turned into a really good conversation. Guys out of Vegas, and this is what he does. He calls up people. He does prank calls and stuff too. At first, that's what I thought it was, but he was like, "Hey, you're live on your fan page," and I'm like looking through my, I'm clicking on the internet, looking at my fan page, like, what the hell is he talking about? We're live showing your video on your page. I'm like, how the hell you get into Black Folk Hotspots? So I look and I see what he was doing. He was using almost the same technology that we use, and but he does these a little bit different. It's more set up radio studio. and eventually we'll get to that. But that's not our main focus. But anyway, I'm like, it was cool. So tell us about what you do as far as the tutoring, and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, well, first, I've been a math teacher for the past few years, and going around, as I talked to you earlier, I've been in different cities, and it's the same everywhere. Everyone hates math. Math is the big bad wolf in the school system, and a lot of students don't see the importance of math. And whether that's due to a poor teacher, whether that's due to the student being in high school and they've experienced failure throughout math throughout their entire educational career, whatever the reason is, a lot of students hate math. And I, being a math teacher, see the benefits in math. I see
Right.
how it applies to our everyday life. And I began this company recently in the end of July, actually, where I tutor students online. I also tutor students in person, and I'm also still teaching as a math teacher because, again, I just begun. So my business is, fairly new. But my goal as a math teacher, teaching online, is to provide students with affordable, real world context math tutoring. So, what real world context math tutoring means is I try to teach the math and relate it to the real world. So, instead of telling for a student, for example, we're going to learn about multiplication today, what's 12 times 7? I put that 12 times 7 in a real world context. So, it kind of helps to hold the attention of the student, also showing them the relevancy of learning the multiplication. Not just, okay, here are these numbers again, here are these letters again, but how does this apply in the real world? I actually created a book to go along with, my new journey towards becoming an online math teacher. And the book itself was created to give students more confidence in mathematics, to show them the purpose of mathematics, as well as to show them how mathematics, some of the professions that they may be able to attain due to having a strong foundation in mathematics. Math isn't just something that you learn in school. You can take this a lot further and make great money by mastering mathematics. Of course, my goal is to have students master it. The earlier, the better. Learn
Mm.
those foundational skills, and then from there, you move on to algebra and geometry and trigonometry calculus. So
You
that's just a
know,
little bit about my business.
that's what's up. You know what? And so, now, okay, so now that I know you're a school teacher, how did you feel about that police officer in South Carolina?
uh, I mean, totally out of
Hey man,
bounds. Total.
hey, look, I'm not gonna fight you. Better yet, how did you feel about Don? Did you hear what Don Lemon had to say about it?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Tell me how you feel about it.
I mean, regardless of what the student wouldn't follow directions or whatnot. I don't even know the full story. I honestly try to stay away from some of these things because it just angers and irritates me. But uh, I did hear that the officer was fired. I do feel charges need to be pressed. But regardless of what a student is doing, a student should never be flipped out of chair, dragged across the desk, and we know if that was the other side of town, they would have
Yeah.
simply called the parent. That wouldn't have happened. So it's an injustice on all levels. But as teachers, we face a lot in the classroom, but it should never lead to anything physical. Never, never. So
Do you find, because are you in the inner city schools, or what type of
yes,
school?
inner
So
city.
okay, and I grew up in the inner city, and I'm gonna tell you, I was that class clown. So it was many times that I had to go to the principal's office. I didn't want to go, right? We had a resource officer type. We had security guards in our school. We had like two or three of them, right? But those people, man, those security guards, they were cool as the other side of the pillow, right?
Yes.
They didn't mess with you. Now they were there to break up a fight every now and then, or skirmish, or get people moving through the halls, to class or whatnot, right? My school was 100% black.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the matter of fact, my school I graduated from in Gary, Indiana, is the school that was created for the blacks in Gary, Indiana, in 1930. So it was created for black people,
Wow.
and my city is 90% black. So all the other high schools in the area were predominantly black too. right?
Yes.
And so I have a hard time, and we had gangs, and we had little, people thugged out, and we had all types in our school, just like I'm sure you got all types in this school, but it's like
Yes.
we've never had any problems like that.
Like that.
And I
No,
know
I've never seen anything like that either.
yeah, I mean, and I know it's people who've been stubborn towards, police officers, but what they do a lot of times, what I've seen them do, and obviously this was 25 years ago, but when I graduated, but they talk to you, they'll be like, hey, it was, I've never seen anything being done by force for the most part, unless it was like a fight going on and they had to get in there and do some shoving and breaking up, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
no, it was nothing like what you saw. That dude was like on some aggressive, steroid type anger. That dude, I mean, that little girl was 100 pounds probably wet. He slung across the room,
Exactly. For not getting out of her seat. Like it's not as if
Yeah.
she was attacking him or she was attacking a student or she had a gun on her or anything. So it was no justification for snatching her out of her seat and dragging her. For not listening, that's not a reason.
And it seemed like she was pretty quiet too. Look, it seemed like she was pretty quiet. So the teacher be like, you know what? Just sit there. I don't even give a shit. You know what I mean? As long as you don't disturb us, do what you do.
Is that and the thing that kind of alarmed me from the video was the children. As the police officers doing this, they were kind of just sitting there like this is normal,
I saw that and I said the same thing. I said, wait a minute, they used to that. And I'm glad the one girl said, get your phones out because they about to do something stupid.
Yeah.
A kid shouldn't be afraid. And
exactly.
Because that's what they seem like officer, what they call an officer slam. Nah, man. Mm-mm. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't see a gym coach got beat up at my school by a student. And I want to say a security guard got cracked on too, right?
Wow.
Yeah, because in our school the coaches were just like the security too. They were just like, they had most of the respect and
yeah, everyone looked up to the coaches and respected them.
Yeah, and most of the male teachers, I remember, a couple issues. Now I had a male teacher pick me up and he thought I cursed at another teacher or something in the hallway. He picked me up, man, over his shoulder. I was like in 7th grade, and dude just was hitting me with a leather strap, right? And I went home and I told my old man, and so my old man was like, "I'm taking you to school tomorrow." And he took pictures of the bruises, and I had bruises on my legs and stuff, right? The dude did abuse me,
Wow.
but and it wasn't me. Now I did a lot of other stuff, but calling another teacher a bitch or whatever they said I called, this wasn't what I had done. I was raised a little bit better than that. And but when that teacher saw my old man walk in like 6'4", 6'3", he 250, 260, his attitude changed too.
Yeah.
So did the principal's attitude. Like y'all fix this, or I'm going to the school board. I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
And you know what? They handled it. Dude got suspended. He got suspended without pay for a couple weeks of school, whatever. And my old man was satisfied with that. I don't think he wanted to lose his job. But back then we got SWATs, and that was kind of normal. Nowadays that would have made the news for real.
Oh yeah.
I would have been like a little celebrity and didn't even know it. But so you said something earlier. You said like, math is in the everyday life, and I get it. Looking at different miles per hour and money and this, that, and the other. What other uses one of the uses that people don't realize they're using math like that, where they really have to use it. Now, before you go there, I do know that with, sometimes when we're cooking, I'm like, hey, you can't find the 1/3 cup, right?
Yes.
And or you can't find whatever, one of the cups to measure something out. You have to, maybe you have to use a half and something else. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's how I think about it sometimes, and I try to educate why I'm doing certain things. But what are some of the uses? What are some of the things?
Well, of course, being an adult, you have bills. You have a budget that you need to stick to. You have to plan for the future. I mean, all of those things are directly related to math outside of the everyday things such as cooking, like you mentioned earlier. Uh, Maybe with cooking, that's when proportions also come in handy, as long as fractions are helping your children. If you don't know math, how are you going to tutor your children? Like my parents weren't strong at math, so if I didn't know it and they couldn't help me, and of course they couldn't afford a tutor, I just didn't know it. So oh, go on.
No, no. So tell me this. So maybe I don't realize it, but you can probably help me out. And since I got you on, I'm gonna ask you the question. Um, when the hell do I ever use algebra?
You use algebra in several different things. You use calculus in several different things that you don't realize. Motion, in a sense, you use out. That's calculus at work right there. Algebra. There's several different uses. For example, if we had 2x minus 3 equals 7, that sounds like numbers, but if we replace the x with something that we can actually touch, we can put that equation into the real world. I wish I would have came with some great examples I could have went over
Yeah,
with you,
it's
like
all
to show
good.
you.
Hey, when I went to the Air Force and I came home, I went to the Air Force after high school, and I came home when I got out, and I told my dad, I said, I should have never went, right? And it was cool. I had a good time and everything. My grandfather said, my dad said, you know, you should have never went, and I'm like, you never said that when I left school. He said you should have been at Purdue, using that head of yours and studying and becoming an engineer, you know. And now fast forward, now I had already registered for school. I just hadn't started yet, and so I go to school and I'm seeing these engineer majors working on math problems, a problem like for 5, 6 hours. I would go to class at 7 o'clock and I'll come back, finish all my class at 11 or get ready to go to lunch, and they still huddled in the same spot. And I would be like, no, I don't want to do that. Y'all taking too long. That should have been
and
done.
and you might not, but engineering heavily involves mathematics. Engineering is a great career path. That's the other incentive to learning math. Some of the career fields that it opens up to you. A statistician, just certain jobs where that are laid back, relaxing jobs, where you're making a six-figure salary to solve problems. That's what math is. The ability to solve problems. Some
Mm-hmm.
problems are tougher than others. That might be a more difficult degree of math. But if you love to solve problems, you love to fix problems, that's mathematics in a nutshell. And many people don't view it that way. They don't see that it is something that can be easily learned. Of course, if you apply yourself to it, you'll
Right.
see the uses of it in everyday life. You'll see the connections of it. Math is connected to the world as well as connected to itself. How addition connects to subtraction and multiplication to division and fractions and decimals. But you got to take the time to actually learn that. And unfortunately, being in the schools, I see myself, there aren't a lot of great math teachers. A lot of teachers, in my opinion, teach math above the student's head. Like, I know it, why don't you know it?
Right.
And it's like the student is there to learn it. So you have to put it in a manner that's easily learnable for them. You have to break it down into chunks, and teach it to them. But once you begin to learn the foundations of it, everything else becomes easier. But I've taught in high school. I've had 10th, 11th, 12th grade students that probably couldn't pass a sixth grade math test. I know for a fact couldn't pass a sixth grade math test. Maybe even a fourth grade math test. But
Hmm.
they are continuously passed along from grade to grade, and they still don't have those those foundational math skills, but they keep getting passed along. And so it's no shock to me that they hate math because they've never been good at it. I've been barely making it all of these years, and every time I arrive at a new grade, I still don't understand it. And to me, that's the problem right there. It's
You
hard
know
for
what?
you to learn how to walk if you never learn how to crawl.
Yeah, yeah, and you 100% right because I remember one of the math classes I took. I ended up at Purdue, and I remember missing like 2 or 3 days, and I came back and I was lost. And
Mhm.
I'm like, either I got to get a tutor or I got to drop this class. And quite frankly, I was like, I'm just dropping the class.
You took the easy route out. You gotta.
Yeah. But that's what's up, man. So, okay, so now you wrote 2 books. Are they
Yes.
geared toward what are they? What age level are they geared to? Are they geared to kids? Are they geared towards adults? Or what's up?
The math book titled Math Equals Money. That's also my website, name of my company, Math Equals Money. But
Hmm.
that book is geared more so towards students or parents who are trying to learn mathematics, improve their confidence in it to teach their children. But I did write it in a sense as if you're trying to learn it. So it's geared more so towards students, but also for parents who are trying to strengthen their skills and learn what mathematics is all about. The other book is geared more so towards, I'll say, young adults and adults. And that's actually a financial book that I wrote. Of course, growing up, I wasn't exposed. I was not financially literate, me or my wife, neither one of us. So we kind of learned as we went along. And I
Hmm.
started learning about investments and just different ways to grow your money. So I decided to create a book about it, and it's a short read, but the book is full of different ways that you can begin to grow and invest your money. And it's ways that you don't have to have a degree to do this. You don't have to have much financial knowledge. I wrote the book just like I teach math. I break it down in simple terms, and I just provided, you know, a bunch of information in this one book. It's over 10 different ways that you can grow your money, whether that
Hmm.
be 401ks, whether that be CDs, whether that be certain investments. They're all listed in there. Anyone can do it. You can start doing this tomorrow, whether that be stock market. I try to provide a little background on everything that I mentioned to invest in. But a lot of people just need to get started. They need to
Yeah.
get started. They need to see that it is easy. These things aren't necessarily confusing. They aren't out of my reach. I don't need a lot of money. You can take $20 and begin to grow that $20. Now, of course, if all you have is $20 to invest, you're not going to make, $20,000. But if you can make a return of $5 on that $20, that's something, you know. So that was my goal with creating that.
Especially when you know the percentages. And I don't know if you mentioned the rule of 72, but um, in there, which is a that same equation used with the $20, and people always want to know when is my money going to double,
Yes.
right? So they take you take the interest rate and you divide that into the number 72. So if it's 10%, then it's 7.2 years, right?
Yes.
Or it's 7.2, which is actually years. That
Yeah.
$20, if you never touch it or add anything to it, if you get a 10% rate of return on your money, it'll be 40. It'll be $40 in 7.2 years. You
Right.
know, because I try to I used to be in the financial services industry, and that's the thing. I used to try to explain to people how money works. Which is basically what you've done in the math side of things too. By breaking it down, and I would use that rule of 72 because it was easy and simple for most people, as long as they knew how to divide.
Yes.
you know, and I would say that, hey, the banks know this, you just don't.
Correct.
Because they're taking your money and they're investing in higher rate of return items, and their money's doubling, and they paying you out 1%, 2%. So you think about that.
Exactly.
You can do that with your own money if you're smart enough. So
Exactly.
that works. And people are like, oh wow. And then we talk about mutual funds and how they, been, 10.5%, 11% or whatever over any 10-year period since they've been invented. So at the very least, if you investing over the long haul, mutual funds going to work for you. Most packages, if you got the right thing. So, and they'd be like, wow. I'm like, I know your 401k administrator didn't explain this to you, because all they did is took your money, but they didn't ask you what age you want to retire at. They assumed that you wanted to work till you were 70. But you could be, you could want to work till you're 50 or 55 or 40, hell, even, depending on where you're at. You just got to do certain things to reach that, because, again, I guess what you're saying is true. There's a mathematical formula for it all.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And I see that need, for our people to learn. We have to become more financial literate. We have to start thinking not for today, but for tomorrow. And usually when I speak with one of us, it's more so, okay, what am I getting out of this right now? And it's not always about right now. You want to be comfortable in the future. Right now, you're busting your butt. You know what I'm saying? But if you can set your future up to where you can kick back and relax, wouldn't that be worth it to sacrifice a little now?
Yeah.
So it's difficult, but I mean, we all got work to do. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to help.
And I think you're doing a hell of a job, man. As far as I've never seen you in action, but are you talking to the kids like that as well?
Oh yes. Actually,
for some odd reason, I gathered that. You seem like that one is, you adding life skills and other things incorporating in this, because, like I always told teachers that I know, I'm like, you better speak their language.
Exactly.
Because if you don't speak their language, you can't connect with them, and then you're gonna wonder why they treat you like shit, or they won't listen to you, because you're not. Exactly. It's a language barrier, and I know you're an adult and they're the child, but sometimes you got to get on their level a little bit, and then you grow up with them.
Correct. And you have to relate the educational experience to their everyday life. Most kids feel they like, what am I doing here? I come to school for lunch, PE, and to play with my friends. They don't see the relevancy outside of that. So you have to connect with them. But more importantly, I always try to teach students about how this is preparing them for their future. I'm big on that. Those life lessons, intertwining them into the classroom. And I guess you can tell, I have that personality. I'm not a dictator inside the classroom. I'm more of the medium. I'm allowing my students to utilize me to get to where they need to be. Of course, you still have to follow the rules, respect me, respect your classmates, but I don't have to run this like a dictatorship. And I get the results, so,
Right. And, I sense that, because you seem like one of the teachers. If I would have had you back when I was a child, I would have listened to. Because I know what it was. I would get my work, and I would be done, right? So then I had nothing else to do, and then I realized all these years later, I wasn't challenged as much as I should have been challenged. So when I was done with my work, then I acted a complete fool, and I'm bothering everybody else, because I'm like, damn, you're a dummy. You ain't done with your work yet. Yeah, I heard you read over there, buddy, and don't you think I forgot about that.
You was the troublemaker. You was the one that
I said that. That's 100% true. I know that I would be considered a bully in this day and age, but all we called it was jiving on people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, you can't do that, But it was just funny, and I was the class clown. I just was, but it wasn't nothing serious. Like, I didn't have enemies. You know what I mean? Like, people would be like, even today, this year we just had our 25th year class reunion, and people were like, boy, you still a fool. But out of 350 people, I was number 48 out of the class.
There you go. I mean,
and I just. Well, that's even without applying myself. And now I think back, I'm like, damn, I could have been a valedictorian. I could have been like, yeah, but it just wasn't serious. Me, it was do enough so my parents would stay off my ass, right?
Yeah.
you know,
And to
make
get
sure no
by.
matter what I had a C on the semester grade, um, and that was and get out of there. And when it came time to graduate, man, I was just like, I I don't want to go back to school. I already knew that I wasn't gonna do it, and I was or be well with it. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the Air Force. The Air Force recruiter seemed pretty cool, you know what I mean? And that's what I did. And then I realized they put me right back in school. And I'm like,
Wow.
damn, I gotta study. This is crazy,
You thought you
But
was going to fly planes and stuff.
I worked in a hospital, man. So I keep telling people everybody don't fly planes, but I worked in a hospital. I was an immunization allergy tech, so I had to learn. Now I had to learn the human body and anatomy and A&P, and which was all pretty cool. So, but yeah, that was interesting, and it kept my exposure. But I had to do something to the doctors who was teaching us at one point. I'm like, hey, I don't understand nothing that's coming out of your mouth, doc. You're gonna have to break this down to somebody who hasn't been through 12 years of medical school.
Exactly.
You know
And
what I mean?
everybody can't do that. It's everybody can't, break it down and put it in your world.
Yeah, and he said, you know what, I appreciate, because everybody else was scared. He was like, anybody else feel that way? You could see people's hands scared to go up, right? And I'm like, look, my parents taught me if I don't understand something, ask questions, right?
Exactly.
And you could get mad all you want, but he said, I'm glad you said that, because we as doctors forget that we went through 12 years of medical school or 8 years of school or 10 years of school or plus. And we start talking in medical terms like we're talking to another person, professional, and, we got to break it down. And from that point on, 98s, hundreds, 95s, it was just like, now I understood it. I understand what's going on, but and I bet that's what the kids. So I really appreciate, man, because what you do, because my daughter early on, well, she was having troubles with a lot of different things, as far as school. She's no dummy, but she just was having a problem with grasping it, and we got her a tutor for a couple of years. And we used so I know what you do is very important, and it just happened to be one of her cousins, though, that when we were looking around, it turns out that the person was right up under our nose, and she was in college at the time, about to graduate. So she was still closer to the stuff where she can help, and she did. And hitting 7th grade, man, my daughter, she had the honor roll every four, all 4 grading periods. Missed one in the 8th grade because her mama took out of town, so she missed too much time. So 7 out of 8 in junior high school, and then the 1st grading period in high school. So that tutoring works.
Yes, because it's one-on-one, and it's geared towards the student usually. So it's not a teacher standing trying to teach the entire class. It's one-on-one. It's me and you. So what you need help with, I got you. That's the benefits to tutoring.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought about it like that. That's real simple. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So one of the things that you had wanted to discuss was marketing and advertising, as well as building business connections. Was there a question that you had for us, or was it something that that you want to talk to, about other people about, as far as that was concerned?
Oh yeah, that was a question that I have for you. Just any ideas that you had on ways that I can market? Because again, I'm new to this. I'm like 3 months in, and that's where my number one problem is at. Just basically getting the word out. I'm the student right now,
And that's fun. So, you know what? And I'm glad you came to me. I don't know everything, and I tell people that, but I'm constantly learning on a daily basis. And I've been doing online marketing and internet marketing for about 15 years, and full time since January 2011. And so you said something earlier in this conversation. You said, "I found you on Twitter, by the way."
Yes.
Right. And that right there is part of the system and part of the goal, because that's what we focus mainly on the online side of things. Whereas this guy was telling me that we shouldn't be using social media at all, and I said, I didn't say it, but I was thinking, dude, you're a fool. If you knew all the people who have come to Black Folk Hotspots from finding those on social media or click links to go view the content that's on Black Folk Hotspots, things like that, you wouldn't be saying that, right? So what we do personally is I'm not telling you have to be on all of them, but I do know one thing, that you should be on social media sites, and obviously I know you're on Twitter, and then I know you have your website. Now I don't know if you're on Facebook, because you didn't list that if you were, or anything else. What you're doing, because yours is already video. I mean, it's more interaction intensive. I would suggest doing some YouTube videos.
Okay.
Some short YouTube videos about, certain math equations or certain things, or sort of, some of the same things that you're teaching in school, or, if you got friends or ask your friends, do they have a math question, right? Or, anything like that, right? And then, talk on it for 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, however long it takes. It may take longer than that. I don't know. And then during that, let people know that you do tutoring. Right?
Yeah.
Look at the concerns of are you a parent?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure you probably don't have a problem with math and helping your kids, but I would, right? You know what I mean? So, think about some of the questions that other parents may have in the math side of things, and answer those questions, ask them and answer them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because you want to.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say that's an excellent idea.
Because you want the video. And the reason why I said if you focus more on the video side of things, because when you do your tutoring, can you do tutoring like via video?
Yes. Yeah.
I know you can do it locally, so we already know that. And so now you could be reaching out to kids that's in New York or back in Tampa or Chicago or my hometown, right? And even so, you got youth bureaus, right? Like Boys and Girls Clubs and different things, after school programs, that maybe they can hire you, and do something video conference where, they can have a monitor set up and you talk through certain things. The kids have a question with math problems.
Okay.
Those little things, I will contact them, because you never know, or other daycare centers and things like that where you could do some teaching. Because ultimately what ends up happening is you end up picking up clients by doing that throughout the way. If you're doing just the regular YouTube videos, or they're yours, or different things, because those things are important. And now, and make sure they're being shared on your Twitter, if you got Facebook or other things, into your YouTube channel. So now people, you can, if you get the same question again, you can reference back to this video.
Yeah.
Right. And you always want to make sure that you let people know that you're a tutor for hire too. You know what I mean? And how they can reach you, and this, that, and the other. And I tell people, you say it in your videos, as well as, you always make sure it's in the description below, so that they can click a link and go get them more information to your website. You should never have a video without your website in the description, only if that's the only thing in the description. Because people click. That's how they found you, to click something to get there. Now you don't have nothing for them to click to get more information if they need it. Or they got to hunt it down. Like, I had to hunt the guy down yesterday. He's telling me I'm on live on video that he's doing, but he don't have no links or no nothing. I had to hunt him down, and the good thing is I understand the internet and Google, how it works, so I was able to find them pretty quick.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. Or everybody, not everybody know that. So now, if they can't get the information, you just might have missed out on a potential client.
Yes.
And especially if you can get into some more elite, because it's about the prices. And I tell people, it's like, depending on what you need to make and what you need to charge, to make this you know, to where you wanted to make it, because it all depends. Some people, you know, you might love what you're doing and say, hey, I'm gonna be doing this, but I want to make a nice little wage on the side, you know, tutoring. I'm sure there's a lot of high net worth teachers, I mean, or tutors or clients in California and around the world that, you know, maybe they're traveling, so they don't have time to sit down with the kids.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter's she wants to be homeschooled, you know, because she wants to, you know, work more on her acting and travel. So she brought it to us, and because she's been hitting those books like that, and you know, we went to the school and we talked to the school about it, and they were really like, that's awesome, and here's some resources that we have to help you do that. And just in case it doesn't work out, you want to bring her back in, we recommend these, because though everything that's done here will transfer back to the school. So she's not losing, she won't end up losing any time. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good. This school have done their homework on that. But they're like a magnet school, and it's a public school, but it's like a private magnet school. You know what I mean? But their rent district and their public dollars are a little bit higher. You know what I mean? Than the school I grew up in. But yeah, those are some of the things that I would do, and I would keep them running through a cycle. You know, so if you're following us like on Black Folk House on Facebook, you see us on Twitter, you know, LinkedIn, or you know, other places, you constantly see stuff going through our feed. That's your stuff. You know, because we want to help, you know, you guys grow and use our market, because we know people are seeing it, or they wouldn't be creating profiles like you did, for instance. So what I tell people, if you see it, your clients are possibly seeing it too. You know, it's just sort of no different from radio or TV. You know, you got ads and you're seeing commercials. So I call it like Black Folk Hotspots. These are black business commercials constantly.
Yeah.
So when you do those YouTube videos, you know, Periscope is another great idea. There's another option. You know, you can sit there on your phone and, you know, a person can ask a question and you can actually talk to them and tell them how to do it. They can type it in or whatever. You know, maybe it's an equation they're having problems trying to figure out. You know, I don't know how you do it. If you got a chalkboard or whiteboard or something like that, you can show it, or you could just, you know, talk it out, whatever works. And it, you know, over time you'll figure out what works best. But Periscope is cool because it's live and it actually connects jointly with Twitter. You know, so you can say stuff like, "Come ask your math question. Is your kid having problems with a math question or something, or some math homework?" You know, I'm available. I got an hour. I got 45 minutes. I got 30 minutes to answer any of your questions, and you can help them out.
Okay, yeah, that's again another avenue I didn't think of. So
yeah, that's what we need to put out here.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time, and they don't get it. You know, I've been working lately on this guy's election campaign. He's trying to run. I've been telling him, like, hey man, you know, because we didn't start this 2 months ago, we're going to spend some money. You know, we can do the same things, but in order to condense the time frames, we got to spend money now.
Yeah.
You know, if I could have started this a couple months ago, we could have had it nice and going through the system. You know, my sister shouldn't be asking me who the hell this dude is.
Yeah.
Because she should have seen it so many times that, you know, we friends on Facebook, you know what I mean? And she's a Facebook stalker, so she sees stuff. So if she's not seeing it, then that means it's not going through the system hard enough.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where you got to spend money and make sure they see it, because then it stays in their news feed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It stares at them. And I'm like, hey, man, but I support you, man, and good luck for you. But that's what I've done for candidates, too. You know, I've helped them do the same things. But I focus on online. You know, there's a lot of offline things, you know, and I learned this through this political, you know, this last political campaign I worked on, you know, because I started watching some other videos on like those yard signs. You know, you can put those on the public, you know, whatever I guess whatever ordinance they have in the city as far as putting those out. But you see those things, math tutor, and it's just a phone number or a website, and they stuck in the ground because people see those things. They know they need it. You know they need it.
Oh yeah.
It's just a lot of times they're not thinking about it, you know. And if you put something like on there like affordable, you know what I mean, and and you know, and they like, or whatever you charge per hour, or you know, the first half hour free, you know, just so y'all can build that relationship, and then they go, oh yeah, I need this, and then with that too, you can target it pretty cheap, because you can target your client. So if you put that in certain areas, you can put it in your school area, but you can also put it in affluent areas too, and they're gonna see it too.
Yeah.
Because everybody, that's one thing you said, and you said it. Math is universal.
Yeah.
2 plus 2, I'm pretty sure is 4 here in the United States, whereas it's 4 in Japan.
All right.
But yeah, that's what I would do. Now, one of the things that how Black Folk Hotspots plays a role in this is, say you do those things on YouTube, or say you get some flyers made up that you want to put through the internet, or you do some things. Now you post those same things, those videos, of flyers, maybe to Black Folk Hotspots, and then what we do is we take it and we share it too. So you're sharing it, plus we're sharing it with our audience.
Okay.
So it's now you just put your marketing and your advertising efforts on steroids, a little bit of more steroids, not like not like that teacher in South Carolina. I mean, the police officer in South Carolina steroids, but we got to reach across social media, and of about 300,000 people, and that's just people who are directly connected to us. That's not their networks who they retweet to, or who they share to, right?
Right.
Sometimes on Twitter, man, we'll have like 1.5 million Twitter reach, but we only got like 50,000 or so people following us.
Yeah.
But that means that people are retweeting it to other people, and it's saying it's reaching this many people.
It's just spreading like a web.
Yeah. And that's our whole goal. So the larger we get, the better it is for your business. What we like to say is, our network plus your network equals a larger network. I guess that's what X plus X equals X.
There you go. 2X plus X.
It is a little bit algebra, so you know what I mean? X number of people plus X number of people equals this.
There you
but
go.
Yeah, on a serious tip, that's how we operate. And what we do is we charge for those postings. Like the profiles you have is basic, right? But we charge a small amount to allow you to do your advertising, your posting, because we got to pay for things, and it's a business for us too. Our goal is to help you get there, and we'll do everything we can to constantly put it in rotation. And it's even right now, like now, what I do with our guests is I always run a special for them that whatever time frame that they pick, we double it.
Okay.
As long as it's within 72 hours of the program, because it's cheap. I mean, the max is $15 a month. I mean, now we can get into more in-depth details depending on the dollar amounts. If a person says, "Hey, man, that's cool, but I want something," I got $10,000 to spend. I got $20,000, got $100,000 to spend, and I want big impact. I'm like, all right, let's roll, because we got other things we can do too. Now maybe we have to target Facebook or target different type of advertising things, but we can run the gamut from here to here. It just depends on what the person has. But we created the network so that all black business owners, at the very least, could afford us.
Yeah.
Or they shouldn't be in business. You know what I mean? It's just X plus X means you shouldn't be here. or minus X, or whatever I didn't put it, means that you need to be working for somebody else, because you obviously you don't have $15 now, whether you give it to me or not. But don't say you don't have it, because now I'm gonna tell you that now you might not want to spend it. That's a different story. Yeah. But to say you don't have it, I'm concerned about your business.
Yeah.
How did you plan on getting the word out there? How did you plan on growing? Have you been watching TV and you still see these advertisers and marketing from Walmart or McDonald's? That means that they understand the value of marketing and advertising.
Yeah.
Even though everybody knows what a local McDonald's and Walmart is to their house, whether they eat it or shop there or not, it just doesn't matter. But they still are advertising on TV and everywhere else you look. So
You gotta keep it on
it's
your
for a reason.
mind.
It
Yeah.
ain't just because either.
Yeah, they don't pay millions just because.
Yeah, because math says that's
Hey, it don't
they
make
look at what they
sense.
call ROI, and that's a
Yeah.
little math equation. If I
See
run
you
this ad during this time period, during this event, I'm going to net X.
exactly, and it's somebody's job to put that together. Somebody's
Yeah,
job or a team of people get paid to solve that math problem.
that's you're right, man. You're right. Maybe I just don't know what the hell calculus is or physics. Is physics math or is that science?
It's math and science. You know, math and
Okay.
science are both related, but through physics, we can put together a mathematical equation to tell you how the wheels on your car are turning. You know, so it's math and science kind of merged together.
Okay. See, I didn't have none of that in high school, man. I didn't. I wasn't advanced enough, I guess, for those classes. But um, I know when I took the SATs, I had no some of that stuff when I had no clue. I'm like, they ain't teach us this. Why is it
So
on the test?
they ain't even prepare you.
Yeah. But my little brother went to a private school. Um, we from Indiana. He went to school outside of Boston. School outside of Boston. Freshman, sophomore year, they were working on trig and calculus and all that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they were getting prepared. Yeah.
yeah. He scored at that time. When 1600 was a perfect. I heard that ain't perfect no more, but he scored 1540 on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
excellent. I mean, on the scale from 1600, that's excellent.
yeah, yeah. And he was upset because he didn't get a perfect. You know what I mean? I called my little geek brother. I'm like, dude, you like the biggest nerd I know, bro. But my little brother, he's parlayed his education pretty well. He's a district attorney um and in Manhattan. That was his first gig out of law school, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
But yeah,
Uh,
that's I guess that shows the difference between the inner city schools and this. But he went to the parents that he didn't want to go to our schools. This is the school he wanted to go to, and they were like, okay. I don't know how they came up with the money. I know, I'm telling you. I asked my sister, I was like, damn, Daddy selling dope or something that we don't know about? But he tapped into the retirement plan for him, and that's what parents do. So,
uh,
but yeah, man, hey, man, anything else, man? I know I kept you past the 15 minutes, man, but, and I don't know if you got to be back in school. You got
yeah,
to go in there and be
I,
Joe Clark.
yeah, I gotta get back.
You got to be in there. You got to go be Joe Clark and get your baseball bat and beat on some students.
Yeah, I do gotta run and start heading back. I wish we could chat longer.
Hey man,
Can
we
we do this
can man.
again?
Huh?
Can we do this again?
Absolutely. So,
Okay.
hit that link again for the interview and just schedule another 15 minutes. If you need more, just let me know and then we'll back it up. But because I always leave a buffer just in case.
Okay.
But yeah, man. I mean, hell, we can do it weekly, monthly, man, and we can talk about results and what you're working on, this, that, and the other, until we grow. This is what I offer our members, and it ain't no charge here. Now, obviously, you could pay me if you want to,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna put a gun to your head. But I think this is valuable, and everybody gets to learn something.
No, it definitely is, and we'll definitely work together. You know.
No doubt, no doubt. So, all right, man. Hey, so I'm gonna let you rock and roll. You'll see this coming through. Um, if you ever get around to it, man, you can update your page, man. Make sure your Twitter link is actually linked in. Whereas because it's not right now. If I had to click on the link, it don't exactly click because there's no Twitter.com in there. So, but yeah.
Okay, so I'll definitely fix that, and I got to get started on those videos.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, they work, man. They work, but it's consistency. So it could be the 100th video, or it could be the 1,000th video, or it could be the first video. You just don't know, and that's what I tell people before they blow
Yeah.
up. That's the one thing. It has to be consistent. But you sound like you enjoy doing what you do, so you won't have a problem with just doing it. But hey, go rock and roll, handle your business, man. Go Joe Clark those kids.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it once again. It's my first interview, so thank you for, opening up that door for me.
You got it, man, for sure, man. This is what we all about. All right, bro.
All
Be
right.
easy. Okay.
All right. Peace out.
Yep. So you guys see, that's what we do with Black Folk Hotspots. Black Folk Hotspots, we're about supporting black business, helping black business, teaching black business, right? As much as we know, right? If you're in need of a tour for your child, I mean a tutor, a math tutor, that's your guy. Make sure you click the link in the description, connect with him, and connect with him on Facebook, Twitter, his website. He got information and stuff like that. But definitely, you want to go click the link below, grab his books, because the more I got a feeling that the more he makes, the more he gives back. He just has that easy mentality. That's just the way I am. So in the support, because math is very important, as you can see. It can limit you in life. So we can't have our kids growing up being limited. But anyway, check the link below. We had t-shirts, support black business t-shirt. I don't have one on today because I was lazy. But anyway, and it's the first day that we got some good weather in Indiana. It's actually like 70 degrees. So yeah, so we'll soak up a little bit of this before it gets cold. But anyway, there's a link to buy a sweatshirt or t-shirt or long sleeve. Got males and females that say support black business. I call them the t-shirts that make a statement without saying a word. The link is in the description. If you're a black business owner, you're watching this, create a profile at blackfolkhotspots.com or follow us on other social medias, on Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Instagram. Just Google Black Folk Hotspots or just click the links, because we're going to provide you with the links in the description below. Blackfolkhotspots.com, CEO. This has been episode 79 with Gary Tracy from Dublin, California, by way of Tampa, Florida. Anyway, make sure you go follow him and purchase his books too. Hey, y'all. We'll see you later on for episode 80, 81, and 82. We're out. BlackFolkHotspots.com.